They talk about martial arts, and if I tell them that I am officially one of the top martial artists in the world, I see a lot of people telling me that it's arrogant, but it's not arrogant. This is the truth. Like, if somebody doesn't know it, I talk about it, and then they call it arrogant. Crack, releasing in the theaters and not doing as well as we expected or hoped it to do. And this is the first time I've really, because I produced it, I lost a lot of money in it, like a lot of it. So for me, the most important thing was how will I deal with it. I did get a lot of comments that don't do this, people will watch it and emulate this. But from my experience, I've been putting videos which I believe should be witnessed, because everybody has the ability to push. But in my belief, I haven't met a single person who cannot do it and has tried it. I see a lot of my friends who are actors who like leave drinking, like leave eating sugar or like salt. I think it's bad for the mind. You'll see them always irritated, and so that's also a myth that if you do this, your body will look good. But what will happen to your mind? And the body will look good only for a few days.
Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. My guest today is a phenomenon in himself. He does things his own way, has always lived life by his own rules, and continues to be one of the best martial artists in the country, actually globally. Of course, I'm talking about Vidyut Jammwal. He is the talented and the absolutely fantastic man. Hello.
Thank you for all those great words. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, but you know it's true. I said you're a phenomenon in itself that because I don't see too many people living the way you do, okay? And it's a life choice, yes, but you've also continued to do this for a really long time and be consistent in it.
No, I think, the mind normally chooses the easy path. That's what science says. And I think this comes easy to me, to be disconnected, to be a little away from the mundane things. And I think that comes like naturally and easy to me, so I enjoy it.
I want to understand why.
And if you're not bored of doing something and it's not repetitive, I think you don't get tired. So for me, there are so many compliments in it that I can't tell you how do I do it, because it's a little, it'll be a little weird for me to tell you this is how I do it. Like, it's very simple. I find getting involved in complicated things very complicated, so hence stay away from it. So I do things that really come easy to me, make me happy. I spend time with people who I enjoy being around, in terms of if I see happiness, I'm attracted towards that. So I'm normally, I think, gravitate towards these things which you say don't happen to normal people but happen to me. So I enjoy going towards those things. They call me.
Has this also helped you stay disconnected from the fame and the stardom of being an actor in this industry that you've seen and you continue to see? Disconnected from the success and the failure of your films.
Yeah.
Does this help you, and how?
Because the disconnected in terms of, for me, the outcome is not in my hand, and it's never in my hand of anything. I've realized this. So everything that is outside of me, everything, I don't try to control it. So if somebody is not in a great mood, I have no interest in trying to make them feel better. If somebody is feeling love, they're feeling love. If they're feeling in a certain way, I let them be. But I make sure that the way I am from within me or my mind is operating, I control it fully. There are times I really feel irritated about certain things when I go out and I step out in public. There are times, but in my head, I'm watching me very closely, and I enjoy that part. So for me, it's simpler. I control me, rest, I'm not trying to figure anything out.
Does that help you also stay sane in this chaos of the industry?
Thank you. You're the first person who's called me sane. That's the biggest compliment I've received today.
I think you're sane.
Thank you.
You've also had those periods of not getting the kind of work you really wanted to. You've had people not believing in you, right? Because you're a true blue outsider as well. But I think over the years, with every kind of struggle, I think you've only become more determined to.
Like I said, the outside is not something
Yeah.
I try to figure. It's the inside, and that's what keeps me occupied. Like recently with Crakk, releasing in the theaters and not doing as well as we expected or hoped it to do. And this is the first time I've really, because I produced it, I lost a lot of money in it, like a lot of it. So for me, the most important thing was how will I deal with it? How will I deal with it. Now this is going to happen to you, and what are the things? And with losing money comes a lot of advice. People who've lost money in the past and friends who really do care about you. So for me, it was important to disconnect from all the advice. And after the release of Crakk, I joined a circus, which is a friend's circus, and I spent about 14 days with these elite human beings. Like, if people think I do some spectacular thing, I normally spend time with people who I respect, and for example, I spend time with this contortionist. So contortionist is somebody who can make the body reach certain levels, which is nearly impossible. So when I see a contortionist and I'm watching the contortionist, in my head, it's like, oh my God, how can somebody be this? How can they be this? So for me, I'm like the smallest person in that room when I'm in a circus like that. So I spent some time with those guys, and by the time I came back to Bombay, everything had calmed down. The people had forgotten that they now need to take care of me and give me advice. So when I came back home and I sat down and I was like, okay, I've lost so many crores, and I had no idea I would ever lose it. Now what do we do? And I have to tell you, in 3 months, it's been it's just been a little while, and 3 months I'm debt free. And I have to say that my secret has been, it's a miracle. Like when I meet my friends and they're like, how did you do it? Like nothing, I just didn't stress about it. I just sat down and think, okay, what do we need to do? We need certain amount of people to work with. I need to finish this amount of money to be given to people. And it's been easier than what they said, because when Crakk didn't do as well, people started telling me, oh Vidyut, now this, nothing. Sit, things will happen, and execute them. So I operate on everything like this. So my biggest achievement with Crakk has been that I consistently kept happy, believing that everything will be sorted, and everything got sorted.
Because post-COVID, a lot of producers, a lot of actors, have been having this conversation about making slightly more budget-friendly films, right? But still expecting the same outcome. कि पैसे box office में उतने ही ज़्यादा आने चाहिए, पर कहाँ cost cutting करें, right? You're a producer, and we've just talking about the losses and stuff. How have you looked at this conversation with you? Because you've seen it right at the end, and how do you look at it from the future point of view?
So, with me, like I do listen to a lot of people and I witness their life journeys. But when it comes to me, it's again the same thing, that I need to work with people who are very passionate about a certain thing. And when I bestow the responsibility on them to do it, I will not question them. And I've been going through this like this, the journey like this, and I have to tell you, I've not failed in that aspect. If I believed in somebody that they will deliver, they did. So that's how I'm doing it.
Which is fantastic. But like I said, it's inspiration, right? Because we see one roadblock and we think like it's over. But you've seen so many. And you've been this even in the start, right? You faced so much more rejections then. It's just that you don't talk too often about it.
See, but happiness has nothing to do with any of it. And I have kept it very different. Like, I was recently chatting with somebody, and my conversation was, when I came into Bombay, I had a certain amount of money, and over the years it kept increasing. But my happiness quotient has been 10 on 10 since then. And that's my endeavor, and that's what I've been trying to do. So I have never related happiness with an achievement or a failure. Like, it's me. This is how I feel. This is how I want to feel today. This is how I will make somebody feel around me if they're with me.
It's fantastic.
You do the same sometimes, mostly.
Not at your level. I mean, I try, but you're an inspiration in that department, truly, in a lot, many more. But Vidyut, we're talking about Crakk, and I have to ask you this. When it released on OTT, everybody wanted to discuss about that climax, right? As to why was it altered and stuff. And there were a lot of, they also said that it was a creative thing and all of that. And because you mentioned about, where you wanted to see the film take you, and you mentioned all of that, how do you look at that decision, A? And do you really think it creatively helped for the OTT audience?
110%. So for me, the biggest responsibility was delivering the movie to Disney Hotstar the way I had promised them to. When I watched the movie in the theater, and yes, I have watched it before, I realized as an audience, it felt a little long to me, because there's an action piece that has happened, and it's the biggest action piece of the movie. It felt a little long as an audience. And now as a producer, it was my responsibility to do the right thing And very few people do this. I got about 21 minutes edited out of it, which everybody was very happy about, including the director, because he didn't see the movie like that initially. Now that the movie is releasing on Star Gold this Sunday, I'm excited because they will watch the edited version, which people have really appreciated.
And which I think is something that you also wanted, right? And see, here's my question again. Because you said this, it is empowering when you're a producer. If you were just an actor, you would never be sitting in the larger stakeholders table and saying that this is what I want. And not every film gives you that kind of empowerment.
No, I had the liberty to make everybody sit and have a conversation about it, including the director, my co-producer, everybody. And when you have a conversation without any egos, trust you me, things do get sorted very easily. It was as simple as that.
Which is fantastic. And I do hope, do you plan to continue being like a major stakeholder, like producing or having a certain percentage henceforth in every film that you do?
Not every film, like
Most.
there's some movies that really need me to do certain things. For example, in Crakk, I had the opportunity to get 7 of the best action directors from across the globe who I personally liked, and they didn't fail. Everybody's loved the action. Every piece in the movie has been appreciated. So for me, sometimes it's very important to do certain things which I believe have not been seen before on screen.
Yeah.
For me to convince people that we will do the train sequence, the introductory sequence, because it's on the local train, and this is what a lot of people do whilst traveling every day. It was a complete pleasure to do something like that because I see it. But when I explained the whole sequence to the international action directors, they couldn't fathom the fact that somebody needs to do this. Yeah. So there are sometimes I get the opportunity to do it and I enjoy it, and I will keep doing it.
Is it difficult for you to break stereotypes? See, I know you don't care because you're doing what you want to do. I'm adding that because I know it. But it's the norm of being an actor here in the industry. It's not usually a norm that जो मिल रहा है उसी पे करने के लिए बोलते हैं कि आपने इस तरह का एक्शन किया तो इस तरह का ही करो.
लोग बोर हो जाते हैं ना फिर. हाँ? फिर लोग बोर हो जाते हैं.
वही. तो was that at some point in your career something that you really were trying to cage out of, No?
So, this is during Commando 1 when Vipul and I were in the car. And I remember him telling me, Vidyut, we've got 72 pieces that you've created as a choreography. Let's just put about 40, 45 of them because, as an action star, worked with other action stars, you can't show everything in the first movie. And I heard him, and because I like to listen to what people say and somebody like him, but I did everything that was written on paper. And trust me, in the second part, we did something more. So I believe that once you give everything that you have and then you recreate it, it's more of a high. And I enjoy doing it in all my movies. So it never gets over if you believe that you can create more. And I believe in it. And I completely believe in it, for sure.
You are someone, again, who tends to not really go out of your way to sugarcoat something. You do it, you're kind in your words if you don't like something, but also with the projects you're being offered or you're rejecting something. And in the industry, you have so much of egos. Has your honesty, whether it may have been in some interview, whether it may have been in conversations in the industry, have you had to pay ever a price for it?
Not really.
No?
No, I've been lucky because, like you said, it's how you say it to a person. And like I told you, like we started with the conversation, that everything that I have to do is in my control, and I am very controlled in that way. So if I have something to say to somebody, it could be the nastiest thing, I say it in a way that I would like to be said to. So I do it like that, and it's never failed me.
You try to make anything that you're promoting also really fun. Like, like today I saw what you did, what you planned to do, and all of you all had so much fun with it. And like, for example, like a train sequence or something. It, people, it gets you also comments saying, kya kar raha hai, ye itna dangerous hai.
A lot.
Right? So I want to know the pros and cons of it. And of course, today's, I only see pro. But I'm sure it's difficult.
Like I recently posted, this is last week, I posted a video of me, which is in Kalari Payat, the martial art I do, training the throat chakra. So basically you tie yourself up and hang the way you get hanged. And I did get a lot of comments that don't do this, people will watch it and emulate this. But from my experience, I've been putting videos which I believe should be witnessed because everybody has the ability to push. But in my belief, I haven't met a single person who cannot do it and has tried it. Like they need to know something about themselves. And if you watch the videos I've reposted or put them on stories, there are more than about 50 people from across India who've posted videos.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a matter of pride to make somebody open something up in their head that, okay, if he's done it, I can also do it. So I meet so many people like that, that it doesn't really bother me that, oh, what will happen? It's never failed me. Like I've never had a person had an injury doing something because Vidyut was doing it, he also tried it. Because what I do and what people try, it's only the people who know they can do something will try it.
Yeah. Others can just observe and say.
Yeah, people aren't mad. I have to tell you, like, can you cut your own hand?
Never.
No. Similarly, if you're standing on the edge of a building, for that you need to know you can. And I haven't met anybody who doesn't, and they will.
I train like Vidyut Jammwal. You have created a kind of a revolution, right? And which has cut across all classes, and I say that very specifically.
Yeah.
You know, there was a belief that when you want to go to the gym and build your body in a certain way, and you need the kind of special trainers, you need a lot of money, which stands true. You do, right? But not everybody can afford it. I feel like what you've done is you've made them say, oh, you know, I do this. Maybe you can do this. And a lot of people who never thought that they could even dream to train in a way, you know, you are kind of like their personal trainer, you know, in that way.
Personal trainer. That's one of, like we were having this chat about personal trainer. I personally believe that to choose a teacher or a guru or a coach is the most imperative thing. Sorry, we were discussing this, right? And when I go to a gym and I watch people working under these coaches, where the coach is making them 100 sit-ups, come on, one more, two more. I think that's what needs to be stopped.
Scary also.
It's boring also. Like if you have fun doing something, it comes easy to you. Like there's a girl in my gym. I've been watching her trying to do a push-up for the longest time. And the trainer makes her do everything to do a push-up. Come on, come on. So she comes up to me and says, Vidyut, I can't do a push-up. And what do I do? So my first question was, why do you want to do a push-up? And the only answer that she gave me was, I want to prove it to me that I can. Which is, normally that's what people say.
Yeah.
So I suggested that why don't you do rollerblading? And if you do rollerblading, you'll do something that you've never done and you'll prove it to yourself. 15 days of rollerblading, and for her push-up was normal because when you rollerblade, you fall. And when you fall, you quickly get up. And that's a form of push-ups. So I believe that you need to choose the right trainer and you don't need to be like strict about something. If you like doing it, do it.
Well done. I mean, well said also. But again, coming back to my question, which I was saying, right? Do you think it has done that? Like this movement, I liked Vidyut Jammwal.
I train with Vidyut Jammwal, yeah.
Right, come from people.
Actually, I've never thought about it. Thank you for
come from
telling
all
me
classes,
this. That's true.
right?
I'm surprised. Yeah, you're right. Like when I see people from across the country sending me videos from small villages, from huts, that's what, like, you're right. Like, you don't need equipment. There are people who can get inspired from anything and then they can surpass whatever their weaknesses are. Yeah, thank you for telling me this though.
No, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the idea around health is that you'll have to spend on the best
People think too
trainer,
much.
the best kind of food, the best kind of protein powder and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is people who are really guided by somebody else. Like people need to know what they really want. What do I want to do? I want to run 5 kilometers. That's the only thing I'll train on. What you need to be clear of what you want, and and you need to work around with people who think like you, behave like you. Yeah.
For someone who has really studied, inhaled fitness and the lifestyle that you have, I want to understand what are the few myths that you often hear people saying, and you really sometimes thought that, you know, I am going to one day say like, it's okay not to believe in these myths. Which are a few things that we can discuss today?
It's okay not to be thin, let's start with that. But it's not okay not to be happy. Like I see people who've lost weight, my friends, so many of them, but I've not seen them happy. I'd seen them happy earlier. So that's number one myth. Really, like, when we watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, this is like the elite of the fit bodies. They don't drink water, they don't do this salt thing. This is like massive. This is like Mr. Olympia category I'm talking about.
Sure.
For people like us who are in movies, like who are not on that level of a big, massive professional body, we don't need to do this. It's a myth. Like I see a lot of my friends who are actors who like leave drinking, like, like leave eating sugar or like salt. I think it's bad for the mind. You'll see them always irritated, and so that's also a myth that if you do this, your body will look good. But what will happen to your mind? And the body will look good only for a few days. Tell me a thing that you hear a lot. I can tell you if it's a myth or not.
You know, I read this, there was a video of an actor who said that, oh, you know, I've shifted to eating like very organic kind of things and making protein powders, because the ones that we get in the market apparently are extremely, you know, harmful in a way that they take a lot of time to dissolve. There was a lot of discussion on this. Some hardcore people coming in and saying that, oh, half knowledge, and then there were others saying there's truth in it. And I have always thought that when I'm going to meet you next, I'm going to bring this up.
It works for him, but I'm not sure it works for everybody. But if it's worked for him, it's worked for him. But like I said, if everybody tries eating, like, now the question is, what was Ayushman's body looking like that he's talking about? If so many people who've been working on these supplements know about it and they have statistics about it, then it certainly has to be a myth.
Yeah. The biggest movies of the year with the maximum money have been what? Action movies, right? And a certain level with Shah Rukh le lo, jo bhi le lo, you know, Salman's King and all of that, right? But do you still think that action gets its due in Bollywood?
See, I'll tell you from my experience of watching all the movies this year. The movies that haven't done well, the audience haven't liked it. So you have to accept the fact that you need to give the audience something else. And I can talk about Crakk also. Yes, I did some great action, but if they haven't said that, oh, this is worthy of something, then it's for me to give them something better. So do they work? Yes, if you are in harmony with what the audience was, you're giving them something new, you're giving them something different, I think they'll work. So it's not the genre per se that's not working or that doesn't work sometimes. I think it is, you just got to give it, you got to give people what they really are looking for. They're bored of seeing the same stuff. They can anticipate the stories, they can anticipate the moves. So how will they be entertained?
What has been among your favorite action films of the year in Indian film industry?
Now, you know, I recently watched Fall Guy. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, Volga was fantastic.
I really enjoyed it.
Also, it's so funny and like...
Yep, like that's what I'm saying. The action, the comedy, everything is a great mix. As an audience, I get satisfied.
Any Indian film in recent times?
For me, like, it is biased, but it is Crakk because India has never seen action like that done by the action star himself. And like I said, it might sound pompous, but that is the truth. If you see the bicycle stunts, if you see me hanging out of the train, everything has been done by me. So for me, in terms of raising the bar in action, I have done my job.
You kept saying, I mean, you said it twice here that it might sound pompous as a warning. Is it because some of the few interviews when you say this, some people come and say some like,
yeah,
is that why you're saying?
Yeah, like if they talk about martial arts, and if I tell them that I am officially one of the top martial artists in the world, I see a lot of people telling me that it's arrogant, but it's not arrogant. This is the truth. Like if somebody doesn't know it, I talk about it, and then they call it arrogant. But it's okay. It's their mind. What I can control is.
Yeah, fantastic. Tamil audience is going to be so happy because you know they've given you so much love in the past, and you're back with Sivakarthikeyan and A.R. Murugadoss. And he put out the lovely post on you. You put it out as well. Tell me a little on that because it sounds exciting. I always believe that the hero is as good as the antagonist, and if the antagonist is not the best, the hero will not even come pass, you know.
And the hero and antagonist are as good as the director, and Murugadoss is one of the best directors in that genre for sure. He's a friend, and he came to me and he said, Vidyut, I want to recreate something that we've done in the past. I want to like do something excellent with you. And I heard what he had to narrate, and it was phenomenal. He's shooting for it, and I'm very excited about it. And for me to work in Tamil cinema is like one of my personal greatest highs because I love working there, and I love the love I get from there and the ability that I have to give it. So I enjoy the ability of giving it back to them.
Who have been your, you know, some Tamil stars that you've really admired?
My favorite is Ajit. Like I love the way He is. I love the way his stardom is. He's not somebody who goes out and promote. I love Vijay a lot. Like, he's different. The way he is on the set. This is all from my personal
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
experience. He's a different human being. He's different. I've enjoyed working with Surya a lot. The thing is, they all are so different and they have such amazing qualities that if you just get to witness them, you will fall in love with all of them. But Ajit is one of my favorite people.
People talk about how amazing you're in action, but sometimes I realize that you're also a very romantic person because also you have always respected women in your life. Tell me how you think about this, about being the quintessential romantic side in a film like that.
No, I can see myself like that.
Not at all anymore.
No, not like out and out romance. For me, romance is empty without action. Like, as a man, I've grown up fighting for women, or I fought for women, or my friends. So for me, everything has to have some action in it. Not like violence, but action. So, yeah, I see myself doing some action with a lot of romance, but has to have some action.
Okay, all right. So romance will be there, but action has to be there,
Has to be.
which is something which is okay. You own it, right? So, but how is that aspect? Have you dealt with the breakup? Okay.
I will tell you after the interview.
Okay, fair enough. But you're all right,
There are
right?
two people in a happy zone, I must admit.
You're okay? That's
Very
important for me. Okay, on that note, thank you so much, Vidyut. It's always lovely chatting with you. And I think you're this beam of positivity and inspiration, and we hope that we always see you happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Come do it. I'm going to make you the quintessential romantic hero. Oh, you went from this to this. Thank you once
Peace.
again. Thank you.